I just want to say it's absolutely amazing to have you back on the show, Darren Griffiths. Welcome back to the ETC. You know,
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me back on. It's been a while, isn't it? It's been a while.
I'll look to see how long in a set.
Yes. I mean, I saw your show, Darren, your latest show, on what you were posting on your socials. And honestly, when I watched it, I've watched it like 3 times now. First time around, obviously fresh, brand new, didn't know what you were going to say. And I was barely laughing. Not only was I belly laughing though, it actually took me, I don't know how you did it, but you made my emotions go up and down, up and down. 1 minute, like the heartfelt, and I'm like, it's serious stuff you're talking about. And the next minute, you make me laugh about it. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You've got an art, and the art of addressing serious things and finding or helping people find the lens of humour to help us process it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That was the intention of the show and stuff, but it was a tough time to go through. And but naturally, as a comedian, you always find it funny and things. So
yeah,
I love how you brought like relatable things, like, and I know comedians often do that, like they talk about scenarios in their life and they make it like a twist on it. But one of the things that was my favourite was the thing you said about the energy, like your opening thing was, like loving the energy. Yeah, energy's expensive. Oh yeah, I like what you did there. You just twisted it completely back to like the energy company, how much it's costing everyone.
Nice.
It was good.
It's a tough time for everyone, man. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. Everyone looks at their energy bill, just like, really? Is this what am I paying for?
That you said like a communal thing was that we can all laugh about it.
For real.
And
for the viewers,
is laugh about it.
Exactly. For the viewers that may not know, we had Darren on the show 2 years ago when he released another show called Essex Boy. The title was Essex Boy, and that was also hilarious. We did an episode to cover that and get to know Darren a bit more. But, fast forward 2 years and Darren's released his new show called, is it Inconceivable?
That's it. Yeah.
Inconceivable. And luckily enough, I saw Darren doing some of his rehearsal practices. I think it was a year ago in the Top Secret.
That's it.
Is it called Top Secret?
Yeah,
the Top Secret
Comedy Club.
The Top Secret Comedy Club. I was in the audience cracking up because you know how it's like people like myself, we're very like just loud. Like, I'm eccentric. I laugh. I don't care how it is contagious. And sometimes you see some people in the audience and they don't get it, and that's okay because I don't know, they might not get it. But I'll be honest, when being a black boy from Essex, or I say I'm a black boy from Essex, I'm a black boy from Luton, but I moved to Essex. So much of what you say, Darren, is so relatable to a person like me. And that's why I find it like funny,
Yeah,
but not only that, Liz, Michael, you guys are not me and you're not from Essex, but you too found it funny, right?
Yeah. No, I did. And
I watched the whole thing. So that means it was good enough.
The 18-year warranty where you can send them back.
It's funny because they make jokes about kids. It's one of those weird ones that it's like no one wants to admit how hard it is having kids, like as in raising kids, raising children. And you see on social media, like a woman will say, "I just need a break from my kids," and people in the comments will be like, "You're a terrible mom. Why did you have kids in the first place? You want a break from your children." It's like, nah, it's hard, man. It's intense, these kids. So
it's 7. You never clock off from it, and even when you have, there still will get a phone call or there could be something, and it's like, oh God, you never really truly switch off until they are actually able to function for themselves and not really require your responsibility.
I don't have children yet, and we will be talking about this throughout this episode. Everyone's probably thinking like, what's this show that they're on about? The link will be put in the description. You've got to watch Darren's latest comedy show. It is hilarious. I know you'll find what he's talking about relatable, and if not, I believe you will be so interested in his story because Darren has been through, I say not just you, Darren, because this is what I found the most about your show, how much you love your wife, this journey that you've been on, both of you, and your kids, of course. Yeah, you talk about your kids, I say, but it's like, you know what, a person like me, I'm free, single. I live my life unattached. I've got my core value is freedom. So when you guys talk about kids, like Liz, you have children, Darren, you have children, you're both married, been married. Michael, you've been married. All of you have done things that, you know, I won't because of you know what I'm like. We've done this in episodes. Anyway, it isn't that I can't appreciate what you are going through and how you did it, how you speak about it, which is another thing. I know I go on 100 mile an hour, but because we've got loads to cover, so maybe I should just slow down a bit. But how you have used your pain of what you went through, and you've honestly spoke about it. It's like there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of other people, couples going through what you've been through. Do you get what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people probably don't even give it a second thought, don't even give it a thought, you know? And it's like, that's actually a real thing. And that's why I also wanted to get you on the show, if you're okay about talking about it more, you know?
Yeah, 100%. A bit more. I mean, like I said, I say it at the end of the show, like, I used to say it when I was performing in Edinburgh. It was the thing of, you know, if you've been through it, then I hope you find it like a fucking, if you're going through it, I hope it brings you hope. And if you haven't been through it at all, hopefully it's insightful. And that's what I wanted to write the show at, all those different levels, in the sense of, I didn't want people who don't have kids or haven't even been through it, or like, you know, they're 18, not even think about that stuff, just kind of go, what's the show about? I don't get it. I wanted to write it at every level, that doesn't matter where you are, in what stage you are in your life. I mean, yeah, similar. There's loads of people like you, Chris, in Edinburgh, who there's like, I don't even want kids. I don't want them. But listening to your story, I felt what you were going through. And it's just like, okay, and that's what I have. This show's good.
Yeah. I definitely want kids. I say I want kids. I'd like one kid. I want one kid.
A boy.
Yeah, I want a kid. I want a son. I want a boy. But that will come when I know that I'm ready to commit my life, because I hear it from a lot of parents. Liz just mentioned it earlier, that it is 24/7. You do give yourself to them, don't you? You fully give everything you have to them. You live for them. And I've got to be a little less selfish before I take it on. So, but I appreciate having friends like you all, because, you know, I'm listening to you. I'm hearing you. I'm witnessing your stories. And I also see the spectrum of the love. It's, core. Every day when I was a soldier, I had a drill sergeant or a corporal come in, kick me out of bed, or I made the fear in me was I was up, I was ready. Everything was in place. You know, I'm ready to go. I can only imagine as a parent, they're your sergeants. It's like, you've got to get up, you've got to feed them, you've got to get your shit together. Do you get what I mean? Like,
times.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a good analogy. They're definitely the boss. You're definitely working for them, 100%. But do what I found it interesting about the selfishness, because I would definitely say I was a selfish person. I still am a selfish person. I think that's just like, that's just the way some people are wired and stuff. And definitely kids makes you address that, or at least acknowledge how selfish you are. And then it kind of forces you to act differently in certain scenarios. Still, there's certain things I do, and then my wife catches me. It's like, really? I was like, oh yeah, okay. Let me make sure the kids have eaten first before I eat. It's that kind of thing. But yeah, selfishness is definitely one of those things that changes, I think, from having kids. Doesn't go away though. But changes.
Do you also find as well that the journey you've been on, obviously during the pregnancy that you speak about in your show, that it even increases the love factor for what you have? Because you mentioned about while you and Naomi, your wife, you know, just for people watching, Naomi is Darren's wife. If you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Darren, because I don't want to say it the wrong way, but when you're trying for a baby, and people are probably like watching, like, what? Yeah, you have to watch the show. But anyway, when you're trying for a baby and you see people so effortlessly get pregnant, and you know, not even intentionally, and it makes you feel like. And I don't want to put people in a. It's not fair. I'm not the gods. I don't govern, you know, the universe the way they do. But when you see some people and you think, how have you been lucky enough to be blessed with that gift of, you know, parent?
And I'm saying in the show, like, it's tongue in cheek, but some of the worst people getting pregnant. Some of the worst. Just like, you should have any kids.
is, when you think about how much of a miracle that is and the chances, it does make you sometimes, I've done it when I've sat on a bench and watched the world go by, and I've seen some people with a trail of kids behind them, and I just think, really, you know, and it is hard as well when you think about the amount of children that kind of go into certain environments and they're not, you know, they're neglected and things like that. And you think it's such a shame, because there's people out there that would really, really, really desperate to have children and, you know, create their own family and things like that. So it always makes me feel like the world is a bit upside down when I sort of sit and watch it and think like that. But it is a miracle. Life is a miracle.
No, 100%.
Definitely.
When I was like younger, like everything in the media kind of portrays that, you know, if you don't use protection and you have sex once, then there's going to be a baby. So so you go from that perception to then being in a committed relationship and actually trying, and it's not happening. You're like, hold on, wait a minute. I thought all the times we weren't getting pregnant because we were making an effort to not get pregnant. So now we've stopped. In theory, we should be pregnant like straight away now. Like, what's going on? And like you're saying, because we start seeing everyone else. Well, it feels like everyone else, but obviously it's not. But you go online, you see another announcement, and you see another announcement. You go on the train, you see another pregnant woman, and then you go to work and you hear another guy saying, "Yeah, Mrs. having another one." It's like, wait, it seems like everyone can do this thing, but we can't. Why can't we do it? Like, what is happening? Yeah, it's a tough place to be.
Yeah, and I actually wanted to say that, you know, one of the things I picked up on during your show the most was how you addressed subtly, you know, is like how honestly you're facing like the masculinity and the maturity. Because just for people watching that haven't seen the show, you know, and I haven't done it myself either, Darren, but Naomi asked you to get tested, didn't she, for fertility?
Yeah.
I haven't done that test myself, but you know, most men, I suppose it's something all of us should do. Unless, of course, you get your girl pregnant, then you're good. But yeah. I mean, how was that, facing that? I mean, I know you say it in a comedic way on the show, but on a serious.
Yeah, if we strip back the comedy from that moment, it was the thing of when she said go get tested, it was kind of feel why, but I was also kind of just quietly confident of, okay, I'll get tested, fine. But, you know, we'll see how good my stock is, my supply is. And I generally thought I'd go and it would just be like, yeah, great results. That's what I thought it would be. And obviously, as you know in the show, it's not. And that was like, it was kind of like, oh, okay. But I generally thought that was just a bad sample. And I thought I'll do it again. Obviously, after 3 times of having bad results, it's like, hey, all right, okay, I've got a problem here. And that was tough. Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, so what made me laugh the most is how you observed that when you go to these places to get your sperm tested, someone's job in the NHS is to refresh the porn. That cracks me up, because it's true. Like, I haven't been there. You went there and you were like, I was in this room and, you know, it occurred to me that this porn is modern. This is fresh. This is like up-to-date porn. Like, whose job is it to update the porn?
That's the job I need.
Oh my God. I say that. I can't say that.
It is mad. Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
That's always been my thing, man. It's always having mad, intrusive thoughts. Sorry, Liz.
They say, I work for the NHS. They're like, oh, wow. So, like, you're like a doctor. Well, I work in fertility. Yeah, the fertility department. Oh, right. That's amazing. I actually do. Well, I basically search through Pornhub, like, most of the time. Guys, yeah. It must be a guy doing it. Come on.
I think so. I think it's...
Is it awkward, Darren? Like, I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but is it like...
I do, because I'm tempted to go do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, is it awkward? Well, here's the thing for me. Whenever I'm going to face something that's awkward, I almost overcompensate and lie to myself and say I'm extra comfortable. So I'll just go into it for just full gusto. So I'll give you an example. When I was at uni, I had a lump well, I thought I had a lump in like my scrotum and stuff. So I thought, right, this could be like something serious. So I remember going to the doctor. We ended up at the hospital, so I get like a sonogram. So even though I talk about having a sonogram on my blogs in the show, that wasn't the first time I've had one. It's the second time I've had one. So the first time was I was at uni, and I thought, right, I've got a lump here, and they said, yeah, okay. And I remember there was like a nurse and like a technician of some sort, because she was on the computer, and I go, okay, the doctor will be with you soon. If you just sit on the table, like just pull your trousers down to your knee and stuff, and then they'll be with you soon. And I was just like, it should be awkward, but I refuse to feel awkward about this. So I pulled my trousers down like to my ankles as I sat on the bed, just my arms just crossed, just like, I went to the doctor's here. The doctor came, and I was 19 at the time, and it was the worst doctor that could come in, because in my mind, sexistly, I thought doctor's gonna be old bloke, but it was this woman, and she was so attractive as well, and I was just like, oh no, then it suddenly made it awkward, and I couldn't, my 19-year-old like horny brain couldn't separate reality from porn, in the sense of like, Darren, you're here because you might actually have cancer. This is why you think you're here in your head.
Shit, yeah.
But my horny brain went, she's nice. How could this go? Which way could this go? And it was that what made it awkward. And then and I've had similar type. I remember going to a GP. I think I had another again. I think I had like another issue down there when I was like in my 20s. And I remember sitting on the table talking to the doctor, and after about 5 minutes of talking, he went, "Mr. Griffiths, you can pull your trousers back up now."
Yeah.
Like,
you were sitting there for 5 minutes, kept your trousers out.
Just chatting away to him. He's like, and he was like on the computer, like searching for stuff, and he's turned back round to me. He's like, "But you can pull your trousers back up now, Mr. Griffiths." I was like, okay. Because again, I didn't want to feel the awkwardness. I just thought I'll be overconfident in this situation. But it is
yeah. Michael, you said that
mine was I had a cyst checked out,
right,
and mine was very awkward, because that was a guy that was actually doing it, so he was checking it, but there was a lady on a computer like yours. I think I was about 19 as well at the time, but then this other lady just kept walking in and out this room, like up in and out of the room. So I was like, well, this isn't really good, and they gave me a bit of like tissue to cover my manhood. But because I was nervous and it's freezing cold, he basically just went down to just helmet. Trying to cover this up with a tissue.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's not working, because he's just like, he's too small to lay down. And then so he's checked it, and it turns out to just be a cyst. But yeah, that was one of the most weirdest, embarrassing times of my life.
Yeah. It's just, because we don't talk about like, I think it's not easier for women, definitely not. But I think women are like forced to confront their health sooner than men. Like they're like, they'll get a letter for their smear test, and they'll have to do like kind of gynecological visits and all this kind of things. So I think if those not easier for women, I don't think it is at all. I think that they're forced to confront it, whereas men, we could really go for our whole life never having to check anything to do with our genitals and just live our life and then die, and we'll be like, cool. Whereas, and so when you are made to actually deal with something down there, it's like, oh, okay, shit, that's awkward.
So I wanted to say actually, because not only is your show hilarious, and not only are you a great comedian, and not only are you addressing serious things, sometimes on a subconscious level, what you are doing is empowering more men to see there's a guy that's done it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it hopefully will help fizzle out that stigma that surrounds, or whatever it is in us that stops us from talking about it or going ahead and getting tested just because we should be getting tested. Do you know what I mean? Like, and not having the battle of the mind. You know, when you sometimes create things in your own head to justify it or stop yourself doing it, or even fear, like ego, like, no, it can't be, not me. You know what I mean? I'm all right. You know what I mean? And when you're on stage doing your show, I bet you there's a lot of men in the audience who are very grateful that you're standing up and, talking about it, because whether they know it or not, it's giving them confidence. So yeah. Thank you, Darren.
Oh, thank you, man.
I think it's really refreshing as well when you have the honest vulnerability in front of an audience, because already it's a massive thing standing up in front of an audience, right? So, and you're putting your life, your material, your everything out there, but to actually using something that is actually quite a vulnerable thing, like your health and your life and your personal stuff, like that's deeply personal. And I know a lot of comedians talk about their wives and talk about their relationships and children and things like that, but to be that honest and vulnerable and like, make it bring the humor into it as well, I think that's quite magical, actually. Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Darren, does the mackerel thing actually work?
I have no idea.
Apparently, you eat more mackerel, like your sperm starts working better, and that.
I think
I don't. I will never.
Yeah, I think so.
I have those little green shots work apparently, like
apple sours.
No, the like spinach, like all the green stuff. Apparently, they're like little shots full of the nutrients that is really good for sperm.
I heard figs are good. I eat figs regularly. Like, they're good for your balls.
Yeah,
right.
There's all these things, man. I think mackerel, if it's not mackerel itself, but I think it's like meant to have some, like, like you'll have some minerals in there that are good, like the zinc or whatever. You might be high in that. But yeah, I even remember when I was performing that live, like on stage, like in the recording, and I told them do the setup to that joke. There's one guy, and I said, "Oh, my brother said eat mackerel." One guy sat there, his arms crossed, like, yep, that's correct.
Some guy's like, mackerel, heard that one.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I was like, okay, so other people have heard this.
So the science behind it is because it's high in omega-3 fatty acids.
There you go.
Which improves your sperm quality.
There you go, Steve. So it wasn't fully nuts. It wasn't fully.
Okay. I know it's carrying on from what we're talking about, and but I don't want to give away the whole show. But
sure.
Darren, there was one thing that like a lot of people probably go through, and you have gone through it as well. And it wasn't it's not IVF that you did. What was the thing that you guys did? Okay. So it wasn't.
Yeah. So it's a form of IVF, but it's called ICSI. So it's ICSI. So intracytoplasmic sperm injection is what that stands for.
Yeah.
So what that is that so in the normal, like say normal and regular like, IVF process, you get the egg, you get sperm, put it in a dish. Well, not just a sperm, you get egg, sperm, put it in a dish, and the sperm will do what it's meant to do in the sense of get into the egg and fertilize the egg. And they tend to use that method when it's like maybe a female based problem. Because usually it'd be like in terms of IVF, like, the woman's unable to produce eggs. So they found good, healthy eggs, and the sperm's healthy, so the sperm will do what it's meant to do. Whereas in my case, because it was a male factor issue, it's the sperm that's the issue. Like, wife's eggs were fine. So it's like, right, we need to help this sperm out. So essentially what they do is look under a microscope, find the healthiest looking sperm under the microscope, and physically inject those sperm into the egg.
Ain't it crazy? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's nuts. Yeah. It is absolutely nuts. So you think about that. Like, think about the microscopic level as well, like of how small these cells are.
Like, is a miracle. It's a miracle that sperm gets to the egg. Like, it is the one sperm that made you, that made me. Like, we are the winning sperms. Like, incredible. It is.
It's crazy. So yeah, so it's like,
Darren, what's the thing you had to go through where they put the camera in your neck? Because I didn't know this, but
so
what is that?
So what they thought one of the problems could have been is, and I guess it ties back to the story I just told earlier about the lump. So I didn't actually say, so the lump in my scrotum was actually it's a blood vessel. This is a blood vessel. That there's a kind of a kink in it. So that under certain angles, it will look like a lump, but it's literally just a bend in the blood vessel. Obviously, from just the from the eye test, it looks like a lump. But once he looked at it through like a sonogram, it's like, oh, we can see it's just a bend in one of the vessels. So when they did, so as part of the kind of like the fertility process, like physical examination, they do an internal one, and they did a scan, and I told them about what I'd been through at uni. And go, okay, well, we'll have a look. And they go, all right, we think it might be a varicocele, which is like a varicose vein in the scrotum, and the science behind that is due to the excess blood overheats the scrotum, therefore malforms the sperm. And
so if your scrotum is exposed to too much heat,
yeah,
the varicose vein inflames.
No, it's just if your scrotum exposed to too much heat anyway, so like heated seats, all those kind of things.
Yeah. I heard people that put their laptops on their lap,
doing sport with the wrong kind of underwear.
Like the radiation from your phone, is it?
All these
in
things,
your pocket, maybe. Yeah.
All these things they've said. Okay. So overheating, and then a varicose vein is just another source of overheating because of just the excess blood just flowing around. It overheats. You're right. Nobody's just entered the room, but I have to keep the camera off her. But that's it. She's dressed like someone in her own house. So I have to keep the camera off her. Sorry. So yes,
I got to admit, I love your story, like how you talk about your wife on the show, and I feel like I know it sounds silly, but I felt like I was part of the story. Like you're telling the story, and I feel like I was there, and it's good. It's wonderful. Yeah. So sorry, the varicose vein.
So because of the excess blood overheats the scrotum. So what they wanted to do was embolize the vein, which is put a metal stent in there, stem the blood flow, reduce it, therefore cooling down the scrotum. And so try not to describe it too much because I'll do it in the show. But so what they have to do is to perform the operation, they put a camera in your neck, and it travels down so it travels across your body and then into your scrotum. And what they'll plan to do is from there do the operation. And I don't know how they do the operation because I didn't eventually have to need it, but they would put a metal stent in the vein there.
Wow.
But
mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So mad. All this stuff that you went through, and it's so crazy because it was like one thing after the next. First you realize that you want to have a baby. Naomi asks you to go and get checked. Then you get checked and you find out, okay, maybe I have got something wrong with my sperm. And then after that, it's like, let's get a varicose vein check and get that camera down his neck, and which is also crazy when you said that because in your neck to your balls, it's like quite a long way,
and then when he said that, I was like, that makes no sense. But Googled it. It's apparently the safest and fastest way because I can't remember what the name of the vein is, but it's essentially like you used to go through your leg. It's like the equivalent would be like going through country lanes to get there, whereas you go through the neck, it's like heading down the motorway to get down there.
Right.
It's a wider vessel. It's easiest to get down, so they go through your neck and down, which is it feels counterintuitive because that almost feels like the furthest point away from your balls.
I know we won't get to because out of respect and that, but it'd be interesting, like, because now your show is about your side of the story, but you do also mention about the journey that your wife goes through, and it'd be so interesting to actually hear what it was like for her.
Yeah,
like not to take away your spotlight, Darren. Of course, no, it's your show. You're the comedian, but when you say the story, it only just dawned on me now. This thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you said, she was the one that kind of, she carries the baby, there's a lot that you both went through, isn't there? Like it's so much.
Yeah. And like, and I said, she's healthy as well. So it's like a thing of, let's say the show, like the IVF process, it doesn't matter what factor it is, whether it's male factor or female factor, all the actions that happen on the woman, there's nothing really going to have to be. stuff I didn't mention in the show, that I had to take like supplements for like a half the year and stuff to try and.
What supplements?
It was a medical one, but also I was taking like Wellman's as well. But I was taking like a medically prescribed one. Yeah, it's
like all of your
like multivitamin,
multivitamins.
But the one that I had to take, I don't even fit it into the show, but this was another mad thing. One I had to take made my wee and sweat and other fluids stink. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Stuff that I had to take. Yeah, I hated it. I would go for a wee at work and I could smell. Yeah. It's almost like, no, have you ever had to take antibiotics?
Yeah. It's funny because when I used to drink Barocca, I used to piss after drinking Barocca, and it would come out like luminous orange or luminous yellow, and I'm like, look at it, this is like luminous green. Barocca stuff's crazy.
Yeah,
but
imagine that for like 6 months of just like because it's all the flame inside something. Yeah, had to do that for 6 months, and that didn't make any difference. And
okay,
so that was the most I had to go through.
Did you stop drinking as well? Did you manage to give up the alcohol?
Yeah,
Did you find that helped? Or was it just, do you think a placebo or?
Because I stopped. When did I stop drinking? So we got married October 19. I drank at my wedding, then didn't drink after that until like a week in December. Like I had some times like the guys. So December 19th. Then after that, didn't drink from then till when my daughter born. So 21. So I was going to say May 21 was my first drink. And so Naomi was like 7 months pregnant with my daughter then. So 18 months.
It's so crazy. What I don't know if Liz and Michael want to say anything more. You guys,
so the drinking side. So you said that the second one was a surprise. So were you drinking in between the first and second one, and then the second one just got born naturally anyway? Well, got made naturally.
I was. I was pretty drunk on conception.
I've got a theory.
I think that's really amazing that happened, but also I feel like every child is a gift. Like, every child is a gift. So it's like extra must have felt like a gift to you guys after everything you'd gone through. And then, it's like, well, that one was easy. What's happening here?
No. So here's the thing. Yeah, it's like every element of that journey through my son is so different to our daughter that it was hard to adjust to that. So obviously with our daughter, because of like the complications, there were so many checks along the way. Like because it's IVF, there were so many checks, and then after the 12-week scan, so many checks. So in our mind, it's as scary as that was. It's also oddly reassuring to be seen every 2 weeks. Whereas when you have a quote unquote normal pregnancy, where so you conceive naturally, you do a test, it's positive. We went for a scan at 7 weeks because we just wanted to make sure everyone's fine. Everyone was fine. And then that was we had to pay for that scan. NHS scan came in 12 weeks, had that. And then it's like, okay, we'll see you at 20 weeks.
Saw
us at 20 weeks. They go, we'll see you when the baby's here. And we're like, no, what do you mean? That's not until another 20 weeks.
Because when you've been consultant-led, you're used to seeing the consultant every couple of weeks.
Exactly. So now it's like, you'll see you in 20 weeks. Like, no, what if something goes wrong? It's like, then you can come in if you think something's going wrong. And we're like, okay. It's like, the weeks just counted down.
Did it feel longer?
Like, it's fine. Yeah.
Did it feel longer with your son because you're counting to the next one and the next one sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely. It just felt like we was way more on our own. And really just kind of like, okay, so you just get on with things and just expect the baby to be here. Like, So
you made your son whilst you were on holiday, is what you said in this show. I've got a theory, and my theory, I believe, is that we as like, I don't say we're animals because we're not. We're humans, but it's like if we look at it like that, basic, primitive, whatever. Most species of animals travel to certain mating grounds to ensure that they are in a comfortable environment to have children and create children. I'm a big believer that when couples go away on holiday, it's because they're in a relaxed state. They're not flooded with work. They're not thinking about, you know, the day-to-day grind. They're in a place where their body is actually, you know, it's like, yeah, this is a good place to recreate life. Do you get what I mean?
No, I don't.
It's in our natural state, I think, how we should be. We shouldn't be running around with the rat race and stuff. So I think when we're in a more human state, which is, you know, out in the elements, chilled, like just taking the day by day as it is. So I think you're right on that, Jules. Yeah, definitely.
I agree as well. Like I said, even in the show, when you're struggling to conceive and people recommend just relax and you just want to punch them in the mouth when they say that, there is an element of like truth to it though, because I feel like you just said, is the way we live our life now, I don't think is natural. We're just stressed about things that aren't actually real things.
Exactly.
They're not real things, but we're so consumed by them.
And we're
so
exposed to a lot as well
so
that
much.
We shouldn't be used to being exposed to.
So much.
100%.
We know too many people. We see too many things. Like I can't remember where I read it. Apparently, like as humans, the most amount of people we're meant to know is something like 200. Is like the absolute maximum. And like there's groups,
like a small town.
Yeah,
a small town with one church, one post office, that kind of stuff.
And there's groups. If the moment you get bigger than that, it splits into two groups, and we're not meant to know that many people. But if you look on your social media, everyone's got like over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people they're following, and you're just getting. And then you find out news like, I shouldn't know that a woman in America got shot in the face by a police officer in her house. Like,
it's true.
Yeah.
I should only know about that if I lived in that town. Like, I shouldn't know about that, but I know about it, and it's something that sits in my head. That's something that's terrible. And then
I've said this on one of my talks. Someone asked me about my view on what you've just highlighted, Darren, and I said, look, at the end of the day, and I was going through my quantum physics phase as well, like learning a bit about that. I was like Schrodinger's cat. Whatever's outside my door don't exist until I go out there, and then whatever I see out there, that's my reality. So anything else outside of that, it does not exist. That's how I live my life. So I know that someone will say to me, this happened on the other side of the world. Don't you care? And I would be like, not really. I'm sorry, not really, because it isn't directly affecting my life.
Yeah.
It's, for all I know, that could be for all I know, that could be like a modern day smoke and screen. For all I know, I'm not there. I don't know that actually happened. They could just like, you know, make that in a studio, put it on my phone, sell it to the masses of a nation on the other side of the world, and the other side of the world, they think that happened. Do you get what I mean? That's just my view, Elite Thinking Club, conspiracy side of things. But yeah, man, we're not supposed to know. Like,
for the record, I think a woman did get shot in the face by a police officer.
No, I heard about it as well, Darren. I did hear about it.
But I do get the essence of what you're saying. And similar to the point I was making is like, if you switch on the news.
Yeah, I don't want to be disrespectful about it. People get shot, people get, you know. I'm not coming on. Yeah.
No, but it's that thing of there's so much stuff in the world. So, like, if you take us back 50 years ago, these things were all still happening. And it's not a thing of, if you don't look at it, it's not happening. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just the fact of the information is so readily available to us now. Like, even on a more trivial one, there's a comedian called Andrew Mensah who was he's telling a joke about logging onto Instagram and seeing a 10 out of 10 baddie who lives in Australia, and he's just like, why am I seeing her? I can never meet her. This is just enough that this woman exists. It's like I should see the same 20 women that are eligible for me in my local area, and I have to pick one of them. That's it. He goes, instead, I'm happy with this woman, but then I see this 10 out of 10 baddie in Australia, and now I'm like, the one I'm with's not that nice now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
It's like every element of the world is like that. Is you think your life's happy, and then you go online, and then again you see someone climbing a mountain in Peru. It's just like, oh, now my life's not fulfilled. Well, I'm not climbing a mountain. Yeah, 100 years ago,
Michael,
all you heard about is you have a cow, and your cow gave you milk.
Yeah,
good.
Comparison. We shouldn't do comparing. It's not very good.
I don't even believe it exists nowadays. I'm serious. If when I'm in a headspace now that whatever appears on my screen, right? Seriously, whatever appears on my screen, I'm using it as entertainment only.
Yeah.
I see it all as the same. I don't see it as news because it's normally on the news, bad news. So I don't tend to tune into that. But anything that appears on my screen is entertainment.
I don't really take it seriously. Or personally, and that's a massive thing. Because
now when I step outside,
we do look at stuff and we do make it about ourselves.
Yeah, when I step outside, whatever's available to me, that's my reality. That is my reality. You can
see it and touch it. Yeah.
Which is actually interesting, Darren, because you actually mentioned it on the Essex Boys show, your one 2 years ago, and you mentioned it actually in this one again about the proximity of being from Essex. Because when you talked about white girls, black girls in the dating game, JME even said this. And for those who don't know, he's a grime artist and producer. He actually said this in an interview as well, because he actually got asked the same thing about why is it that black boys from certain areas only like white girls. It's like, it's not that we only like white girls, but if you was to step outside where I live, it's almost like 99% of all females here are white. You know what I'm saying? If I was born in Africa, then you wouldn't be asking me that.
Yeah,
because the 99% would be black. Do you get what I mean? So it's like, and I'm glad you said that, but it's the truth. Whatever is outside your door when you live your real life, that is what you're exposed to. And I'm glad that you addressed it. And that's why, again, it's relatable, Darren. So yeah, it's good because also, what I love. Sorry, Michael, was you waiting to say something? Because
I felt like Michael was waiting to say something. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael's always so patient. And I'm just, me and Liz chatting. Another thing as well.
Yeah, I said I disagree with the information thing. The more information we know, the better we can live as a society. Because if shit happens overseas, if we just bury our heads in the sand on it, that is basically us going, yeah, that's okay to go on. So if people are killing people, the world should know it. It's a collective consciousness that this shit should not happen. So, and that only happens if everybody knows about this stuff. So you've got a choice of bury your head in the sand and let the world just carry on and shit itself, or everybody knows about it, and then it will less likely to become just like if a town rapes and butchers all its people all the time, and everybody just goes, "Nah, we don't give a shit," then it's going to carry on. People knowing about it can stop it.
See, this is what I love. This is why I love ETC. I've said this behind the scenes before. Liz and Michael, you are my shield and my sword. There are times when I'll be saying what I'm saying and Michael will just ground me. He'll just be like, Jules, this. And I'm like, yes, Michael. Yes. Thank you. Because you're not wrong in what you're saying. 100%. Yeah. You're not wrong in what you're saying. Yeah, it's important.
The climbing the mountain thing that you said, like when people do feats of amazing things, I don't see that as I'm not very good. I see that as, well, I need to up my game then.
Yeah. It's
100%.
It's all the way you look at it, I suppose, isn't it? The perspective. Yes.
Well, just for me to be at peace, though, if someone is getting absolutely butchered on the other side of the world, it isn't that I should sit there and think that I'm helpless, can't do nothing about it, because sometimes the situation is I can't do anything about it. Yeah. And for me to overly consume my mind, what Darren was saying about the capacity of knowing, I'm not supposed to know that in my natural state. I would never have known that was happening.
Well, if we all didn't have phones and social media, we wouldn't know it, because not everybody watches the news. And also, when we used to have, do you remember when we used to have 5 channels? Just 5 channels. Actually, it's 4 channels. And then Channel 5 came and everyone was like, oh my God, Channel 5! You know? So, and back then, we didn't have all of what the legacy media, the mainstream media that we have now. Is if you go onto the news, a section on Sky, the Sky menu or whatever, there's like hundreds of channels of all these different news channels all over the world, all different countries that have like
thousands of channels in each country, America leading, I think. And I think to myself, how much do we need to know? Like,
Right.
Really?
This is the point.
Who
So
watches this religiously? It's a little bit, our brains aren't made to be taking in so much information. It's just, and that's scientific, Michael. So you were like,
that's also bullshit.
Oh,
our brains are made to take in as much information as they can. They are sponges, literally. We've got petabytes of space in our brains to take in as much data as we can.
But the idea, Michael, is that you apply it to what you are witnessing outside. If you go to your proximity of where you live and you apply that, what you're talking about, brain capacity to that, you will benefit your local community and your area of living. However, if you're overly focused on something that you will never see, like the gentleman that was on Instagram comparing a woman from Australia to his woman here, he would never have seen that woman in Australia. So he would have been content with what he had. So the fact that he is constantly being distracted by things that he will never see in real life, point being, he's applying his brain capacity and power to things that are distractions other than what he could be achieving in his real life. Do you get what I mean?
I think
you could just buy a plane ticket and go over there and find her.
Go on, Darren. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think there's a way of tying in what everyone's saying. I think, like, with all software, if you think of our brain as software, and it's amazing software that has this infinite capacity of knowledge, like it's got petabytes of space. Every bit of software, doesn't matter how good it is, it depends on the user's ability to use that software.
Yeah.
I think that's probably
100%.
the issue with us as humans, is we have these amazing tools in our heads, which are our brains, but our ability to use them, it's just terrible. So it's the same way.
Some people's bandwidth just ain't strong,
yeah,
Darren.
So
that's just,
so
you know what I mean?
We've got all these news channels. In theory, there should actually only be one news channel, and that's a news channel that tells the truth. That's it.
Yeah.
But instead, we have a million different news channels because they've all got their own little agendas, and they can all tell the same story, and they'll tell the story in 100 different ways because of whoever their sponsors are and whoever's funding their thing. And us with our shit little brains at home, will sit there and go, I'm watching the one that I like the sound of the most, and they're saying the things that they're telling the truth. They're saying how it is. They're saying the things that I want to hear, and then we go into our own little kind of little groups and our own little perspectives of the world. And that's what I'm saying about the users. We've got the software in it, but the users we're crap at using it.
Yeah, it definitely
and
needs
also
developing.
Some of the software is corrupt. Some of the software is full of viruses.
Darren, also what you just spoke about.
Did Liz just go off when she said software's got lots of glitches and she's disappeared?
Yeah. Literally.
She spoke against the Matrix.
The whole thing, I promise. But that must have looked good, right? I promise you that wasn't part of it. I'm never saying anything like that again. The system is trying to shut me down.
They must have heard you, Liz. Yeah, they must have heard you. Yeah.
Just Facebook all over again.
Yeah.
Back to what you were saying, Darren, about how people can selectively choose who they want to listen to. I'm a big believer, if you live it, you know it. And that's why I feel like your show is so powerful, because you are speaking from your place of truth. There's no getting around that. It's the truth of your experience. But I love that you speak about it in a way that we can laugh about it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what for real. But you did say as well that, you give gratitude because you wouldn't be doing the show had you not had a happy ending.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't mean that people that go to Thailand and get a massage. I don't mean that. I mean, in the sense that you have
no pun intended.
Yeah, in that you actually have two beautiful children now.
That's amazing.
And you've gone through that and shared the story, and I think that's really important.
And you have one of each as well. That is so lucky.
I've locked out there, and it's like two ways in the sense of the happy ending bit. In the sense of I didn't want it to be where I've gone through all that stuff, and now because I've got the two kids, it's like, well, I'll move on now. I didn't want that to be the thing because there are still people going through it. So I thought, right, I owe it to to them. I owe it to, I guess, the past version of me and my wife that had to go through all that. They deserve to have that story told. And then, yeah, and I said, I'm not sure if I'll be able to tell it, but I didn't have my happy ending. I think, I don't know, maybe there's a, I always have in my mind, like there's different, each decision you make is like a different path is created, and there's a parallel you in the multiverse living a completely different life because you've made this different decision, right? And maybe there's a version of me that still doesn't have children, still struggling, still going through it, but will somehow manage to articulate the story and still bring the humour to it. But I think there's no doubt that it's an easier story to tell because I've got my kids. It's a way easier story to tell. But yeah, definitely.
Well, how you've done it, the art of
you got to the destination in your journey.
Yeah, and not only that, I liked how it was educational. I'm sitting there learning as well. Like you do you get what I mean? You really went in on the details of like we went through this stage, that stage, and this is this is the real term for it. This is not. This is the paper you get, and this is what it says. And it's like, is that what it's like?
Yeah, so they're doing. I remember when I did it in Edinburgh. I did. I don't know how my agent hooked it up. I ended up doing a talk in the middle of the Fringe at the University of Edinburgh to these fourth year medical students who were doing a module on fertility and stuff. So they had one comedian in who used to be an NHS doctor, and she did like her little bit. She did like a stand-up set, and I was going to do like a stand-up set. As I got there, it ain't really going to work. Like these 200 students in this auditorium, it's not going to really work as just a stand-up set. I'll be charming and talk, but then I'll just tell my story short and sweet, and then open up for questions. And then opened up for questions. I'll just answer them truthfully, but obviously in a funny way. And they were sick because like I was sat at the back of the lecture, and whenever they was asking, like the proper lecturer was asking for like the students to get involved, you see like one or two hands go up. But then, I said my little bit at the beginning. One hand went up. I answered it, and I must have answered it in such a way because when there's any more questions, like about 20 hands went up. I was like, okay, it's like everyone had these questions. I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's actually have a proper chat about it. And I think a few of the students and 4 of the lecturers came to one of my shows in Edinburgh. So then I was just like, I'm under pressure now. I better get all the medical stuff correct. And then when I finished, I was like, how was it? And they go, medically accurate. I was like, good. That's what I wanted it to be.
I love it. It's hilarious. And, I don't know how you do it. Like I said, it's an art. And yeah, I'm just so proud of you since having you on the show like 2 years ago. And then obviously me personally knowing you for life. Yeah. It's like when you said you were going to be a comedian, it was like over 10 years and you ago, maybe more. And it's like, yeah, I can see that. And then you got signed to that major league. You joined the major leagues and then I saw you live, and then like the show now is just so good, Darren. It's so good, and I'm like, yeah, man, he's got it. You're a master, and I'm really rooting. I can see you doing that bigger and better. I look forward to whatever life throws at you next, and how you're gonna help us all laugh about it. I hope anyway, because it really is cool.
I very appreciate it.
For real.
No, I really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be next. I don't know what the next show will be. I'm not trying to find anything more traumatic to talk about, but
yeah, hopefully not. Like, yeah.
I might have to dig into the past.
I don't even want to say nothing.
Yeah.
Do you ever find that as a comedian, you automatically think funny jokes that you just have to like keep a lid on in case like the social setting?
People always say, you comedians say the wildest stuff. It's like, you haven't heard the stuff we don't say.
There should be a night. There should be like a secret, like, top secret club night where you literally expose all of the things that you don't dare say or that you can't say.
If there was the camera and the microphone in the green room of a comedy club, it's wild. is absolutely wild. Like, because it's comedians that you might not even think of like that. You know, like they might be like a nice family-friendly comedian, but then obviously when they're off stage, you know, their act is very clean act. When they're off stage, the brain still works the same. Like comedians' brain still works the same way. Or it's almost like having Tourette's. Oh God, you just told a story. This is the worst thing I could possibly say, but it's also the funniest thing I could say. It's like once you're amongst other comedians, it's like I'm just gonna say that thing. And people just say the thing, and it's just absolutely hilarious because everyone knows it's jokes. But just when you go on stage, like, I can't say what I just said in there. Like I can't.
I suppose it's how much you can take as a human being, because the job of a comedian is to make the things that aren't really or taboo to talk about, or elephants in rooms, or serious things. If you can make people laugh about it, good. We can process it because we're laughing about it. We've still got it. It went in. But sometimes some people can't stretch as far. They're like, that isn't funny. That's not a joke. And it's like, no. I get what you're saying. It was meant to be a joke to address the seriousness. I hope you see that. But I didn't find it funny. Like, cool, you're not there yet. You're not quite there yet. Yeah, because to the rest of us, that was fucking hilarious. No, I'm joking. But you know what I mean?
No, it's that. And depending on what the subject is, some people are just either too close to the subject, they're still going through it. Like, I remember one of the work in progress shows I did, obviously, was up in where was I? Somewhere in Kent, I think. A woman ran out in the middle of the show, and then I was thinking in my head, I was like, like she must be still going through it, or this is the story I've told is too close to home. But it made me feel bad. But in my head, I was like, but I'm just telling my story. So in a selfish way, like that's all I'm doing. I'm just telling my story. I'm not making light of anyone else's experience. I'm just saying, this is my story. This is how I dealt with it. And that's
it's funny because you never know who's in the audience. I remember, like, I'd come back from Afghanistan the first time. My ex's parents took us to a show at the theatre. It was Blood Brothers, and at the end of the show, I did. I enjoyed it. And at the end of the show, one of the brothers holds a gun up to the other brother, and he shoots him. And I'm seeing it. I'm watching it. I know exactly what's going on, but the gunshot triggered me, and I shouted, I screamed, I hit the deck, grabbed my girlfriend. And the whole show stopped, and the actors must have looked up like, "What the fuck just happened?"
And I was
so embarrassed.
I remember you telling me
I was flooded with embarrassment. I was shaking. I was a little bit, I'd ruined it for everybody else. And I just got up and I just started walking out.
Of course. What else can you do?
I can only imagine what it like now, later on, looking back, thinking, what did the actors think? Like, what did they do? And obviously, the show must go on. It's not personal. It wasn't like they attacked me. It wasn't, it's just something I was dealing with. And so, I'm glad that you know that about, I suppose, when you're on stage, Darren, because whatever that lady did, had to get up and leave, it had nothing to do, I believe, with you. It was just probably what she'd been through, innit?
Exactly. That's how I always take it when people react to certain things. Like I said, it's an emotional story. And some people really didn't read the description of the show. Like in Edinburgh. So people come in and they're sitting there like, this is funny, because obviously, like, it doesn't start off serious. It's light, it's light. Then it kind of starts creeping, then it goes dark. And then it goes up again. But some people didn't read the description at all, so they sat there and they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is what I'm going through. I don't like this. I'm not ready for this yet. And I saw women walk out, guys walk out of the show, and I'd see other people in the audience look at the person walk out, and I don't know, I kind of learned how to do the show in a way that when someone walks out, almost just to give some kind of really quick gesture to the crowd to be like, it's fine, we're just going to carry on. And that's it. And then usually what would happen is that their partners come up to me and speak to me after, or their friends to be like, oh, or even the person themselves to come. It's like, oh, I'm really sorry, I walked out of the show. I'm like, mate, I have to apologise. He didn't make a big fuss. He didn't stand from the crowd and be like, "That's not funny." You didn't do that. You just left, and that's your right, man. You left as politely as you could. So I respect that.
How does it feel? Only 3 weeks has your show been uploaded onto your YouTube channel, and you've already got 10,000 views. How does that feel?
Yeah, do what? It's cool because I have like a following online. I have a big social media presence, which I need to work on. That's my. I'm not waiting for New Year's, but that's my resolution. My common resolution is to post more clips. Like I said, I've got Inconceivable, I've got Essex Boy as well. So you'll see more. And also, I'm still performing now, and I guess we writing another show, so you'll see more clips going off and stuff. And yeah, it's been good. It's been good putting all the clips up and seeing the response, and the clips have worked. And so people see a clip, I always send, as soon as someone follows me online, I send them a message to say, "Thanks for follow, check out the full show." And a few times people, I did that immediately. As soon as I saw the clip, I watched the full show. It's funny. Yeah. So it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, man. You got the momentum. That's it. It's it.
Yeah.
It's happening organically, naturally. I mean, I know you can't just sit there and do nothing. You are doing what you're supposed to be doing, but it is happening, and that's, mate, it's so good to see.
Yeah, I just needed to get that booster jab. I've got some friends, some followers who have a lot of followers, and I was just like, just repost it, man. Just repost it.
Repost, definitely.
Just tell people to watch it, and I'll be chatting away to them like, "Yeah, man, I watched your show. It's really good." I'm like, "Yeah, go on."
It is good. So, definitely. We're putting the link to Darren's latest show, and obviously we follow him here on ETC on the YouTube. So if you wanted to check out his channel, it's all connected to the ETC channel as well. And yeah, check out the clips and just follow him on all socials. Are you still doing your podcast, Darren? Do you still have
I've got two podcasts now. Two. So Griff Brain Dump's still there.
The Brain Dump.
Yeah, and then I've got Late Night and Wet Wipes. So it's a Parenthood podcast with other comedians.
That's brilliant. Late Night and Wet Wipes. Awesome.
Like it. Late Night and Wet Wipes.
Yeah, Michael Houchen and Kazim Jamal are my comedy co-hosts. So we were friends from before. Anyway, it's like comedians, and then we all ended up having sons within 6 months of each other.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you're all raising boys and
so living it. Let's make a podcast. What's all the
brilliant idea? Brilliant idea.
Yeah, just talk about parenting. Yeah, that's it.
Well, we're at the hour mark, and I know that you've all got lives, especially you've all got lives. I don't want to put anyone like we've got a more important life than someone else. But you've all got lives.
You caught yourself You caught yourself very well there.
You've all got stuff to do, and I suppose I want to say firstly, Liz, Michael, is there anything else you guys want to ask Darren before we say goodbye? Like, you had any itching question or anything?
No, I was just going to say, when he was talking about his podcast, the names of the podcast, but he said it whilst he was talking, so he answered the question before I got to ask it. So
excellent. And Darren, is there any I suppose for anybody watching anybody tuning in and seeing this podcast, and they're thinking, where can I find you? Just where can they find you? Even though I'm going to put all the links for your stuff in the description.
Sure. So
in case they're listening.
Yeah. So website is darrengriffiths.com. Darren's DARRAN. Griffiths GRIFFITHS.com. Then Instagram, TikTok, and TikTok. X is all at Darren Griff. Facebook is Griff Darren, and I think that's it. That's all the social media. I mean, Threads are there. I don't know who uses Threads. Is somebody using Threads?
Well, I don't know what Threads is. I've never heard of Threads.
My mate said to use it, and I just never got into it.
Live thing, yeah.
It's that Meta's attempt at Twitter. It's
okay.
Yeah, no one uses it, but I'm on that.
And also,
ask too many permissions for me.
Yeah,
And Darren, where can people book in to see your next show? Or when's your next show? When's your next stand-up live?
When does this come out?
When does this come out?
Yeah, when's this part to come out? It's live.
I'll probably in the next day or two.
Okay.
It'll be released. Yeah.
So I'll be at the Comedy Store in London for this weekend. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'm down at my God, I should know the name, but I'm down at a festival in Bristol on Sunday. Name of the festival. That's really bad. I just turn up to these things.
Any plans to come up north?
Yes, I'm up north.
Michael's up north.
Where about up north are you?
Lincolnshire.
There's nothing in the calendar, but it can happen. It could definitely happen. There's gigs in Grimsby that always gets I always see like requests for. So Grimsby can happen.
What about in Hertfordshire?
Hertfordshire next time I was there yesterday. I was in Hertford yesterday. When am I next in Hertfordshire? I always want to gig in Hertfordshire because that's where I live now, and so I always want to gig in Hertfordshire.
Yeah, on your thing you said you live in Hertfordshire.
Yeah,
I was like,
so I'm always super excited. Always super excited that there's a gig in Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Cambridge or Essex. I'm like, yes.
Home. It's more home, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes. Okay. But yeah, but it's all on my website though. It's always constantly updated.
Okay, so all on the website. Check it out. If you want to go and see Darren live, and I highly recommend it. It's got such a better atmosphere. I mean, don't get me wrong, watching it on the screen is just as funny, but when you're there, you're part of the audience. It's just a different. Yes. It's just different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
just different. Yeah. Right. Well, thank you, Darren, for joining us again 2 years later on down at ETC Line. And, it's so good to see that you put together another show, which is doing so great for you. And not only that, your life, like, congratulations,
Thank you,
you're living the dream, like, in some would say. And I know that you know what it's cost you. We know that, but at the same time, congratulations.
Thank you.
So yeah, Liz, Michael, nothing else you want to say?
No, just well done.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Real. And thank you for joining us again.
No problem.
Okay, so everybody watching, from me, Liz, Michael, and Darren, everybody everywhere, peace and love.